picks up his cell and calls his cousin Renfro, in his 3rd year at the DMV since graduating from Farragut. Reads him the license plate. "Registered to a Richard Dempsey," says Fro. "From River Forest. That's cash, my brother. And a BMW?" Latham agrees. It could be a real payday. Guy like that, dressed like a professional, in a fancy ride from a fancy suburb, probably a doctor, a lawyer, a financial guy. A guy who'd have a hard time explaining that video to his bosses or his wife. He'll check out this Richard Dempsey. We'll go online, look at his house, find out his occupation, search him up on social media. You can't get too greedy. Gotta be something they can afford. But yeah, Latham's seeing dollar signs. 10,000? A guy like that? To protect his dirty little secret? He might pay that. Shit, $10,000? That's more than halfway to the tuition for film school. More than Latham could make in 6 months at Best Buy. Peace. Latham punches out the phone. Thinks about the money. Thinks about film school. "I'd like to thank the Academy," he'll say one day, clutching his Best Director Oscar. "And I'd especially like to thank the men and women who made this all possible by traveling the heroin highway." Chapter 2. Today's the day. The roiling in my stomach is supposed to signal excitement, not dread. I open my eyes to the water damage on my ceiling, the paint splintering and soggy, which should be a metaphor. Oh, I can't make it work. Oh, I can't make much of anything work. My head is banging like a gong. My tongue feels like shag carpeting. My stomach has erupted into civil war. I warned myself when that 3rd bourbon slid across the bar last night. By the 6th, I was pretty confident this morning would be a challenge. "You're avoiding," my shrink would say. The shrink the department made me see during my vacation from the force. Paid administrative leave while the department shook out from the scandal, indictments, calls for reform, reassignments. I was the hero and the villain in the story, depending on your point of view, though most of my comrades on the force put me in the latter category. They couldn't fire me after my one-man wrecking ball to the police department that made Sherman's march through Atlanta look like a sightseeing tour. I'm the face of reform now. More like the face of death, I mumble, getting a load of myself in the bathroom mirror. Hair standing on end, dark circles, pale complexion. I have, 20 minutes to look presentable? But how presentable do I have to be, sitting behind some desk or assigned to traffic duty? Who knows what the superintendent's going to do with me? I'll be about as welcome in his office as an IRS audit. You don't have to go back, I say to my reflection. But what else you gonna do? Work private security? Roam the earth as a shepherd? I'm not sure which side won that debate, but 20 minutes later I'm driving to headquarters, at 35th in Michigan, still considering that shepherd thing. Does it have to involve sheep? Police headquarters is a long, low-rise building that looks like a high school. Not a bad analogy, because this mandatory meeting feels like being sent to the principal's office, though far less pleasant. I'd rather be visiting my proctologist. He has a criminal record. Most people don't notice me as I walk the halls in my sport jacket and blue jeans, shield on. Just another cop, not one who opened the wrong closet door and found a bunch of department skeletons inside. Not one who got a bullet to the head and a murder indictment for his trouble. And my biggest crime? That I overcame all of it. I was supposed to go away, surrender. But instead I fought back and won. If returning to a job where your persona non grata counts as a victory. Good thing I'm not bitter. "Detective Billy Harney for the superintendent," I say to the receptionist when I enter the vaunted anteroom of the Chicago top cop's office. He might also be Chicago's top asswipe, though a lot of people are competing for that prize. I glance at the clock to make sure I'm not late. I'm late by 2 minutes. Aces. "You're late," says the soup before I've even entered the room. He's alone behind his desk. Makes sense. No eyewitnesses.